Hey, how's it going, everybody? My name's Hilliard. Welcome to another episode of Mushroom Wonderland. And it's the new year, and we're headed out into the woods to discover what kind of mushrooms. Hopefully find some hedgehog mushrooms out here. That's kind of the plan. And I got some friends with me. We got Drew Ryan, really awesome dude who I met a couple years ago, really into the medicinal mushrooms, a lot of good mushroom information there. Adam, DeLeo of Adam's Mushrooms, and his buddy Tim, and they work together selling commercially, like to all of Tacoma and Gig Harbor, a lot of fancy restaurants. And so you guys know all about the commercial mushroom trade. So I just love being in the woods and kind of seeing what everybody does and just going to scout new areas. So today we're kind of on the East Hood Canal, just in an undisclosed forest. And we're gonna head out into this coniferous type of forest where there's a lot of rhododendron. And you can see black huckleberry and Douglas fir back here. And hopefully see what kind of edible wild mushrooms we might find and describe some of the more obscure ones. So thanks for joining this episode. Make sure to hit subscribe and come with us into Mushroom Wonderland.
Welcome to Mushroom Wonderland.
So what do you have here?
Well, I just picked this super pretty turkey tail in this rosé form. Really nice. I guess, well, yeah, nice growth pattern.
It's gorgeous.
Has a nice pore surface, kind of like the pores to our skin on our dermis. But
So how do you use turkey tail?
yeah, so it's really too woody to, I guess, digest and eat as a food, to fry it up. So most of the time, you know, you brew it into a tea or you make an extract out of it. And in traditional Chinese medicine, it's used in people who are yang deficient. So it kind of grows in this radial outbursting, really cool growth. And yeah, it's said to help people energetically be more outgoing and more outward if you're too introverted. And I've noticed it on the energetic aspects in that way quite a lot.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So you could just throw this and simmer it in some water for maybe an hour or something and just sip the tea. And
Yeah, so
as simple
about
as that?
2 hours minimum to extract the polysaccharides. So
2 hours of
Throw
simmering.
it in a crock pot or a soup or a thermos is a good way. If you don't want the stove on.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is just a really
Okay.
pretty, maybe for my altar or bookshelf. Just a nice, pretty late season turkey tail.
Very nice.
Yeah.
So Trimides versicolor for the turkey tail, concentric color rings like that, and then a porous, creamy white surface underneath. But there are no like toxic lookalikes, right? I mean,
Yeah, not at least in this area.
yeah.
Yeah.
You could pick the stearium and make tea, but it's not toxic, but it probably isn't going to do much for you.
Just maybe understudied in the medicinal realm.
Right. Yeah, growing right here. So this is proof we're getting into the late season. We got a Tricholoма myriolanum right here, a Western Matsutake, but it's definitely past its prime. Here's a pine cone from one of these 5-needle pines, but he's also associated with Doug fir. They're pretty opportunistic, but when you find one, you might find more. But I don't know, this thing's pretty long in the tooth.
We got some cat's tongue down here growing, kind of hiding. But this is the Latin binomial is Pseudohydnum gelatinosum.
So what does pseudohydnum mean?
So it has false icicle gills.
Oh, yeah.
And actually has the same texture as like a cat's tongue. But it's really slippery jelly. It's beautiful. A lot of people can candy these and they're pretty tasteless edible.
Right.
But they'll definitely candy up nicely and Some people like to play around with this edible mushroom.
And you could just eat it right now, raw, huh?
You sure could.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would advise against eating a ton of them, though. You might get a bellyache, right?
Yeah.
It's like a lot of...
But yeah, lots
cool.
of polysaccharides in there.
So Hydnum is the genus that hedgehogs are in. So pseudohydnum would be like a false hedgehog, right? So,
Yeah.
So that means that we could be in hedgehog territory.
We sure could be.
That's what we're hoping for. Here's your cat's tongue.
Oh, dude, that's a lobster mushroom?
A lobster.
Or it once was.
Oh, yeah, it's a little past its
Little
prime.
hypomyces.
Hypomyces.
Like the juicy.
So do you guys sell a lot of those? People after those?
Yes, in their prime. They're one of my favorites for sure.
Yeah?
Yeah.
How do you cook them?
Low and slow.
Yeah?
Low and slow. For those, my favorite way is like slice them and treat them like you braise a piece of meat almost.
Ooh.
You know, so slice them up, sear them in a pan, lots of wine, butter, herbs,
Ooh.
and then into the oven at like 250 for an hour or so, and they become real soft and noodly.
That sounds good.
So
Would you do that with these ones?
Nope, they're already too soft and noodly.
Yeah. Yeah. Hypomyces lactiflorum, so it's like two things, right? A host fungi and then a parasite.
The most metal mushroom out there.
Yeah, I really like them too, but they have kind of a crunchy thing, sort of.
The low and slow thing makes them badass. Soft, like very good textured.
I'm down to try that.
Yes.
So we're in lobster habitat. Look at all this beautiful moss. This is amazing out here. Some yellowfoot. Looks like Drew found some winter chanterelles, yellowfoot chanterelles. Let's see what you got. Ooh, nice ones.
Surrounded, but there's a beauty. And here in the duff, if you pull back this moss, it has a stalk. Really nice yellow foot to it. Hollow, false folded gills.
Yeah, this is a chunky one too.
Yeah, it is.
That's a pretty big one.
These are some of my favorite edible mushrooms to cook up. I call them chanterelle noodles. They're nice and noodly in pastas and have great flavor.
They're pretty tough too. They seem to hold up in a basket well. They got a good shelf life. I really like that they can be in the fridge for like 2 weeks and still be okay. It's crazy.
Especially in the winter when we need food and forest medicine the most.
Yeah.
You know, it lasts us a while. But yeah, usually they grow in troops like this. They're usually growing together.
The Chanterelles tubiformis. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really like them. So these are related to black trumpets, which are pretty uncommon here, right? Do you ever find any around here?
Not so much here in Washington. Usually they're down south, Oregon, in the oak groves. But I've heard some legends that there's a couple of handfuls of black trumpets out here somewhere.
And this would be the time of year, I think. So
Yeah.
keep our eyes open. That would be like
Knocking on
the
wood.
treat of the day. I see another lobster mushroom over there.
Those are great lobsters.
Yeah, we're in the new year. We're in January. Another lobster mushroom. Definitely past their prime. I was finding lobsters last July, so. Wow, nice flush of yellowfoot in here. So I have this bucket that I made a little hinge lid on. Keep a bunch of pine needles out of there. And there you go. And Drew has his traditional basket. That's nice. Very nice. Sounds like Tim might have found what we're looking for. Hedgehog mushrooms, nice. Definitely some of my favorites to eat. Nice, here's a big one. Cool. Here they are. So these are actually probably umbilicatum, because they're umbilicate like that.
Yeah.
So they got that belly button in the center and then teeth underneath. These are some of my favorites to eat. Yeah. Cool. So this is kind of what we came out here for today, and Tim won the prize of finding the first hedgies of the day. This is a great area. So cool. Maybe work our way down a little bit and see what else we might find. Awesome. we got a golden chanterelle.
Well, part of one anyways.
Nice. This big old hedgehog. Ooh, that's a beauty.
Chunker.
Look at that color on that. It's very pale. I like that. I don't know why. but
Creamsicle.
it looks just delicious.
Yeah.
Nice find. So our spidey senses kind of were pointing in the right direction, I guess. Yeah. I might walk the hill edge up here, and they were all scattered right around in here and right here. Pretty steep. Here. Look at that. New Year's lobster mushrooms. That's bizarre. Yeah. We're in lobster country big time, but showed up just a little bit late to the game. This one's actually still solid though. What are you finding?
Somebody, I think, is tossing some pieces to some hedgehogs.
Oh, what? Pre-fondled hedgehogs?
Pre-fondled without, with a little bit of,
It's probably a squirrel, man.
could have been.
Oftentimes, it'll be them squirrels.
Yeah. Here we're looking in this like valley, maybe some depressions where it holds a lot more water.
It's a good thought.
Yeah. Here's one right here.
Oh, look at that. Drew found one live on camera. Being brought to you live.
Just about stepped on it.
Kind of hiding underneath this.
It's kind of hiding them underneath there.
Hiding them.
Ah,
Two of them.
dang, nice.
They got pretty fragile stems, so I'm gonna try my best to.
So as a commercial mushroom buyer, do you care if there's dirt on the bottom of the stem? Would you?
Oh, yeah.
Do you like them cut?
Yeah, well, no, I don't care if they're cut or plucked, but they better be cut before they go into the basket.
They better be clean.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
One dirty mushroom will turn your whole bag into a dirt. We call them dirt burglars. Why would you steal dirt from the forest?
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So when it goes in the basket clean, how much do these sell for on the market, or how much could somebody get picking these like commercially these days?
Oh, I mean, I think last time I paid $5 a pound for them. They're
Okay.
start off around 8, but it's a little bit tricky. Like a lot of restaurants are very mindful of their budget right now, and so what happens is like on the bigger market, there's lots of volume that comes out of Oregon or California, and we have some here in Washington. But if it ends up in these larger warehouse type buyers and it's not moving out, then they don't want to pay as much for them.
All right.
You're
Right.
sitting on product and it dries out and you're losing weight.
It's just supply and demand in real time with mushrooms, right?
And on a fairly small niche market scale, so it can happen pretty fast.
Oh yeah, yeah. But that seems like a lot of work, man. $5 a pound. We've been out here for an hour.
80 pounds of them, you know.
80 pounds, yeah. So you got to find a real hot spot.
$400 a day.
This
But I
kind of
wouldn't-
picking is like to take home for your dinner,
This is a
maybe.
nice, yeah.
Scrambling with your
It's a nice
eggs. And,
walk in the woods.
Well, and
Yeah.
it's good to explore new areas and like.
yeah, who knows? We could come into the biggest hedgehog patch in Washington. Who knows?
That's what keeps you coming out.
Yeah, it could just be 100 feet that way.
You're always looking for the hidden valley of mushroom.
Yeah,
I know it's out here somewhere.
it's out here. We're gonna find it, and the black trumpets.
That would be cool. That's one of my unicorns. I've still not picked the black trumpet.
Mhm.
And that's what I'm used to seeing hedgehogs.
That's a good sign, huh? These big, tall roadies.
Yeah, it's super mature.
Yeah, look at that one. That's big. So this is the state flower of Washington. The rhododendron. These all have like beautiful pink flowers. The native ones do, anyways. And there's a million hybrids. Oh yeah, Marasmiellus candiditis.
Now is that? I mean, that's like a similar gill structure to a chanterelle in terms of the
Kind of, yeah. It's like
pseudo-gill or
veins. Yeah. Kind of.
primitive gill.
Mm-hmm. But Drew just spotted that hedgehog just like all but completely buried under the moss. So
I think
we got to get our
they
sharp
yelled
eyes
at
on.
me.
Yeah.
I think they did a
It was
little
like,
pip
psst,
squeak.
psst, hey,
Yeah.
I'm right here, bro. Tim's in here picking, what do we got here?
some gushy golden chanterelles, baby.
Oh yeah, I could.
I'd eat this one.
I mean, hey, it's been January, yeah.
That one's pretty floppy. I can just tell. Whoops. It's a little slippery. A little slippery. It's beautiful though. Nice color. Just a little soft. Ooh, a nice little waterfall.
Wow, it really drops off that way.
Yeah. Oh, beautiful. Look at this. This is beautiful country. Ooh. Look at what Adam just found. The yellowfoot score. Look at how big some of those are. Can you show us that really big, nice one? Wow.
Oh yeah, let's grab a couple of those here. If you're really in yellowfoot, like a little pair of kissing shears is so nice.
Yeah.
You can really get, yeah, kind of goes.
So would you send these off to a restaurant?
Oh, I mean, I would eat these, but yeah, yes, they're absolutely of quality.
Yeah. Yeah, look at some of those big ones up there. So
they're really wet mushrooms in general. So like, sometimes I feel like, I don't know. Sometimes chefs are like, well, there's too much water content.
Oh, okay.
But they do cook up nice.
Yeah, it's interesting to know.
I like them again, like in a mix of mushrooms. I mean, I don't know. It doesn't feature any one mushroom, but like the mix of textures and flavors and colors, I just think it makes it really awesome. Or like a nice soup, and you just cook a couple of these down and float them on top too. You get that
Oh yeah.
bite of them. They're all the way back through there, but
They're
how
everywhere.
hungry do you get for
It
a
is the-
yellowfoot?
It is the craziest yellowfoot season I can really remember. A couple up here I might grab. Yeah, this is a chunky boy. Look at this guy. Wow. Chanterelles. These are related to the black trumpet. I don't know why we don't call them gold trumpets or just trumpets.
Right.
You know, looks like a trumpet. Very umbilicate. Bright yellow foot. These are gorgeous. And these winter chanterelles, they'll keep growing for all winter long, really. I've seen them with snow on them and frozen. What's up, y'all? We made it out of the woods. I found a pair of Ray-Bans. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know what they are. But we found a lot of mushrooms today. So look at, Adam's got some prize-winning huge yellowfoot. So would you be able to like sell those to restaurants?
Yeah, you absolutely can.
Yeah. Is there regulations around selling wild mushrooms to restaurants and stuff?
In general, it's important that you have well, for me, to have a business license and insurance.
Yeah.
That gives you a level of credibility. Like you can approach a place and, you know, it's kind of like being licensed and bonded as a contractor.
Right, right. But is there like, how do they know that you know what you're picking?
I guess there's a little bit of a trust system. Like there isn't like a certification or something. But a lot of these guys we've worked with for like 10 years, and we do the farmers markets. And I mean, the health department's aware of us. They come by and, you know, I don't think they know mushrooms per se, but they have an awareness of them. They try. We're supposed to put the county of harvest and the date of harvest on all of our sales receipts. I'm not sure exactly why.
So there's a little organization here, but
Yeah.
you're Adam of Adam's Mushrooms. So could people get a hold of you? How would people get a hold of you?
We're on Instagram and Facebook, and we don't do a whole lot of internet-based sales. But best thing is, you know, Proctor Farmers Market, or in the summer we do Puyallup Farmers Market and Broadway in downtown Tacoma as well.
Awesome.
You know, if any of you guys are chefs, feel free to reach out.
Yeah.
You can find us online, just adamsmushrooms.com. And
Cool. I'll put some pictures up right now of these beautiful gourmet boxes that I was watching them pack, and the farmer's market. They really set it up like super beautifully. So definitely check out Adam's Mushrooms. And then what are you holding, Drew?
We got some beautiful hedgehog mushrooms.
Oh,
These are Hydnum umbilicatum, known as the belly button hedgehogs. Usually belly button hedgehogs, they got a nice crater looking belly button in the top of their cap.
Right.
We got icicle gills, as these are known, or icicle
Or tooth
little
gills,
teeth,
right?
teeth gills, yeah. And
So in that way, they're pretty easy to ID. There's nothing else that really has those teeth, right?
yeah, there's a few that aren't the same color, but yeah, these are easy. They have bright creamsicle color in the woods and make a tasty edible in the winter.
Yeah, they're beautiful.
Yeah.
They're some of my favorites to eat for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I find too, sometimes the first, if you're out in the woods looking for them, you might, oh, there's a chanterelle. Oh no, it's a hedgehog. Like there's something in the back of my brain that they're a different color, but I don't know. It's a color that like you want to investigate.
Yeah.
It's got the teeth.
It's kind of sherbet colored, I think would be a good way. Kind of a frosted orange. And then
They eat a lot like a chanterelle flavor-wise, but maybe have a little more flavor and a drier texture I really like.
and we also found Canterelles formosas, Pacific golden chanterelles. They're a little bit
January.
getting a little old, but it's January, so we each have a lot of yellow foots. Everybody came home.
There's a couple pretty ones, but
Yeah.
I mean, as it slips out of my fingers.
They're a little soft. I would just lay these out on paper towels for a few hours and they'll dry out, or like Adam has a big walk-in fridge like most people have to put their mushrooms in.
Just the normal fridge stuff, you spread them out in there. If your fridge is not into freezing mushrooms, some fridges really like to freeze mushrooms.
Mine does. Yeah, that
but
sucks.
if they don't, or even in a paper bag, it's such a dry environment.
Yeah.
That they'll
toughen up a little
but
bit.
It is true. Just spread them out at room temperature overnight on like a dishcloth, or if you have a lot, you can use it full on.
Paper towels, newspaper, pull a lot of moisture out of them, I think.
They also leave a little
ink.
You can read the news.
You have a little Calvin and Hobbes on your...
Yeah. I mean, to each their own.
Yeah. So let's look at some of the collection devices. I have this cool old bucket that's been spray painted, sort of camouflage with a hinge lid. This way I can close it and keep, when I'm really deep in there, I don't have to get a bunch of needles and stuff in there, which is kind of nice. And, yeah, this works okay. And if somebody's coming after, the pirates are coming for your mushrooms, you can stash this under a bush and nobody sees it. Drew's got a
traditional, I guess this is an African-made basket. Beautiful basket. It's nice just to keep it open, but you do get a lot of pine needles if you're bushwhacking. But yeah, I like just slinging it under my arm, and it's nice and light that way.
What do you believe in the spores are going to be falling out of this basket?
I do, and when it gets really heavy, which is what I was hoping for, it has some rigidity, so it doesn't, the mushroom, like the weight of the mushrooms don't crush themselves.
Oh,
in like
right.
a bag or some sort. So, hoping that this was a heavier haul, and this holds up really well.
Nice. It's pretty too. And I've thought about it, if it's a rainy day or these are getting really wet, can you imagine how many spores are in each drip that's coming off that basket? I mean,
Totally.
hundreds of thousands of spores as you're walking. So why not? It couldn't hurt. So what do you...
Wash them up. I'm using the ever classy reusable shopping bag. It takes a little technique. You definitely need to be conscientious of your collection, because you don't want to go banging it into logs or stepping on it or anything like that. But I find for scouting a new area especially, like, it's you can throw it in your pocket. Mm-hmm. You're not packing anything around. Yeah, it holds a fair amount of mushroom. It actually does breathe really well too, and lets moisture pass through it.
Yeah.
So it's not as sturdy. If you're picking weight, it's good to have something a little more substantial. But I think for a day out in the woods, this is a perfectly acceptable thing. And I'm looking at the mushrooms, like hedgehogs are fragile, but chanterelles, yellowfoot, even hedgehogs,
Yeah.
You'll be fine.
One thing I found with those is that you could take a couple of twigs and stick them in the bottom, and it makes it rigid, like a more rigid basket.
Yeah,
but sometimes the mushroom will get pinched underneath your twig and get all squishy, and so I don't know.
Yeah, or if you're dumping these out, the handle, like the mushrooms come down onto the handle, and you got to pull a handle out, and that can be mindful. Again, you got to have a little technique to use the reusable shopping bag.
Yeah, but it's so convenient. I always have one in my backpack under the seat of my car. Most people do. So in a pinch, as a teenager, I'd pick in my hat, right? Just fill that thing up with some blue ringers or some
spores, man.
Yeah. All right, and then what do you have? A shopping basket. That looks pretty legit. Is there any downside to that?
it's a little bulky.
Yeah.
You can't just, you can't just throw it in your pocket like the bag. I like that, but
Getting hung up on branches and twigs,
it's
kind
much
of.
better for the full porcini load.
Yeah.
That
does look
sure.
good full of porcini.
It does, doesn't it?
Yeah. Porcini are some of my favorite to pick.
Bigger mushrooms, I think, are great with this.
Yeah.
More mushrooms are even better.
Cool. Right on, everybody. So this was super fun. It was awesome meeting you guys, Tim. That was awesome. He found the hedgehogs first, so got the award. Adam teaching us about the commercial trade. Drew teaching us a little bit about turkey tails. So I hope you guys enjoyed this episode of Mushroom Wonderland. Make sure to hit subscribe, and maybe we'll do this again. Maybe we'll find some porcini later in the future or something. You're a fun group to hang out with. So until the next one, much love, everyone.